Hey guys, Gaia here from Team Tartarus, bringing you episode 2 of How to Play Yu-Gi-Oh! This is going to be the, episode where I teach you about deck building. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Obviously, you have 3 different types of decks. You've got your main deck, which consists of monsters, spells, and traps. Your extra deck, which consists of synchro monsters, exceeds, and fusions. And your side deck, which can consist of a combination of the both. I'll do more in detail of those as we get later into the video. When you're starting to build a deck, find an archetype or just the type of card that you like and figure out what your playstyle is for the game. Whether you like to be fast-paced player, you like to slow draw things out, a stall player, or if you like to be aggressive, you like to swarm, do you like control, do you like the ability to be able to say and tell your opponent what they can and can't do, essentially. That's kind of a few things you got to think about when you're making the deck. So you're going to want to pick a deck that's or an archetype like I did that fits your personality and that fits your playstyle. And I chose X-Sabers, and they really suit me really well, and I love the way that they're used. And they're not for everyone, but they are definitely the deck for me. I've been using them for a year and a half, and I have no complaints. But anyway, you make a deck. A main deck has to be at least 40 cards. Can't be below 40 cards, and it can't be over 60 cards. My deck is exactly 40 because I like to use the minimum that you're allowed to use, because that's lets you draw into your resources faster and make your plays. So yeah, you got your monsters. You want to use monsters, spells, and traps. You don't have to, depending on what kind of deck you're building, but I generally like to use monster, spells, and traps. Then you have what's called staples. Now, if you've watched anything on YouTube, deck profiles, stuff like that, staples are considered, in the dumbed down version, to be any card that's good and able to be played in any deck, no matter what it is. Staple spells would be Monster Reborn. Can be used in basically any deck. Bring back stuff from your graveyard or your opponent's. It's really good. Dark Hole can be used in any deck. Destroy all monsters on the field. It's good. Heavy Storm can be used in any deck. Destroy all spells and traps on the field. Mystical Space Typhoon. That can be used in any deck. It doesn't hurt your deck. It helps you a lot. So whatever you're going to be using, these are what staples are. Staple spells. These are considered like the 5 spells that you can use in any deck, no matter what it is. Then you get other cards that are opinion staples, like Mind Control. Mind Control is a good card. It's great. I consider it a staple in any deck that you think you want to be competitive with, to use synchros and exceeds, and Book of Moon could be a staple. Just all based upon what your play style is and how you like to run things. Then you get to staple traps. Solemn Judgment and 2 Solemn Warnings. These are considered staples in the trap department because they're good in any deck. You can use them. The Solemn Brigade, that's what this is called. When somebody refers to the Solemn Brigade, that means a Solemn Judgment and 2 Solemn Warnings. Because it's just really good in no matter what deck you're trying to use. And a lot of people now consider Torrential Tribute a staple that you can use in basically any deck, because basically nowadays everything in the meta swarms like crazy, and you just want to torrential and get rid of the field to get your to keep field presence about even, and so that neither of you has the advantage. It kind of evens things out, but one turn can change all that. Then you have to build, once you've got your main deck built, you want to go ahead and, depending on what kind of deck you're using, this is all based on opinion and based on what you choose to do, build an extra deck. An extra deck consists of synchros, exceeds, and if you use them, fusions. I don't, because this is X-Sabers and you don't need fusions. But if you use fusions, this is where it goes. Your max amount of cards you can use in here is 5. No, not 5, sorry, 15. You can use 15 cards, and there's nothing in the rules that says you have to have an extra deck. This is completely optional. You don't have to have it. And when you play, you keep it face down, because there's no rules that say, it's just like your regular deck. There's no rules that say you have to show them what's in your deck or your extra deck. So this can be up to 15. And you also have, just like a main deck, staple synchros, like Stardust Dragon. I know he's definitely considered a staple, especially in today's meta. Black Rose Dragon used to be considered a staple. I still consider it a staple. Let's see, there's Exceed staples now. Wind Up Zenmains is considered to be a staple nowadays, because he's really good. Scrap Dragon's a staple. You know, just stuff like that. Stuff that can be used in basically any deck and be made easily. So that's basically a quick explanation on your extra deck. This is all the stuff you want to do before you can start playing. And then you get to what's called a side deck. A side deck is for those who want to be competitive, to play with. If you find something that you don't want to put in your main deck, that you don't want to see all the time, that's not going to help you all the time, you put it in your side deck. Your side deck consists of up to 15 cards. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly, or you could have no side deck at all. It's completely optional. It's just a good thing to have. Generally, you put things in your side deck that will hurt popular decks. Thunder King Ryo. This is a staple for every extra deck. Thunder King is so good. You can play around your own Thunder King, get your effects, and just keep control of your opponent. Based on today's meta, Thunder King is really, really good. And then you've got other, based on what's being played during the current format, you've got other cards in there to help you out against decks that give you problems. I usually don't side for things that I can just beat naturally without having to side for. But, having things in there that are good for multiple decks, that hurt multiple decks, that'll keep you alive and keep you in the game is a smart choice. So that's what you need if you want to start playing. You need a main deck, an extra deck, and a side deck. The only thing you absolutely have to have is a main deck. So this pile would be considered your main deck. Yeah, 40 cards, and yeah. And then once you've built this, you're ready to start learning the rules, monsters, and stuff like that. So I'll explain that in a later video, possibly the next one. Try to keep these in succession. So comment, rate, subscribe, like the video, PM us. Subscribing helps a lot. If there's anything that you absolutely want to see, go ahead and send us a message, and we'll do it. We'll see if we can get a video up here of it. So, thanks for watching, and look out for the next episode, guys.